What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome once again, y'all, to the Tuffy Talk live show. We are here rolling, y'all, excited for NC State Raleigh Baseball Regional this weekend, y'all. It is going to be a fun one. It is going to be a good one. We're excited, ready for it. I got it's old school NC State baseball cap, Carlos Rodon, Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Probably that era.
Yeah. So and it still fits, which means I still got the same amount of brain as I did when I started. So
your head's not too big yet.
No, not yet. But
right,
Ken's
razor. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, hey, it's always good to have Ken's on the show. What can I say? Dinkwai, unfortunately, won't have Macon here tonight with us, and Lindsay's still doing her thing with the MLB. Excited for her. But with that being said, y'all, we are going to bring back. We talked about it when we announced the live show tonight. Well, actually, first and foremost, got to give you a huge shout. I hope everybody enjoyed and had a great Memorial weekend for sure. And once again, want to give a huge shout out to all of our brave men and women who've sacrificed for this country and especially who've given the ultimate sacrifice. So just want to give a huge shout out first and foremost, y'all, to all those brave men and women for sure. Wouldn't be right to start off a Tuffy Talk live show after Memorial Day without saying that first and foremost. And but with that being said, let's get into a little bit of fun here. So we haven't done NC State trivia in quite some time, y'all. And so we are rolling back with it here today. We got 4 questions here, 3 football related, 1 baseball related. So what we want is for all of those who are tuning in with us live, put your answers in the comments, and we'll give a little bit of time, give or take, 15, 20 seconds or so, give or take, for you to put in your answer, and we'll kind of keep up with along the way who's getting the most answers right. But the goal between Michael and Greg is one of y'all can go 4-0. I'll make it very clear though, none of these are layups. In fact, to be honest with you, I made sure that with all 4 of these, I wouldn't have known the answer. Let's put it that way.
Press Maravich.
That's a throwback.
Press Maravich. Yeah. Again, y'all. So as we go through the questions, put your comments or put your answers in the comments, or if you're listening to us afterwards, definitely let us know how you did. Did you go 4 for 4-0? Did you go 2 for 2? I mean, let's be real here. Keep it all on the table here, but let's have some fun here and let's jump into it. So Michael, Ken's, and Greg, they all got their pads and papers, and I'll give them generally about the same amount of time, and then I'll ask them to turn their answers around, and we'll see how we do. So let's jump into a little bit of NC State trivia, y'all. And I truly hope and pray. Okay, good. All right. Question number 1.
Easy.
What did Ted Brown spend his entire NFL career with?
Well, this is
all right. So let us know in the comments, y'all, what your answer is. But without Googling, honors code, y'all. Honors code, no Googling. What team did all-time NC State great running back Ted Brown spend his entire NFL career with? I believe it was 9. I believe it was 9.
No clue.
So yeah, I wouldn't have known this, Michael, to be honest with you. So we'll give another 10 to 15 seconds or so. But yeah, see, Greg said easy. But I mean, I know him and Ted know each other too. So I'm sure probably Ted would probably give him a hard time.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's a personal.
Not my problem. Not my problem.
I'm torn between 2. I don't know why.
Both of them are wrong.
You want to bet?
All
It's
right.
probably a team that doesn't exist anymore.
No, it does.
Razor with his response. So the answer is turn around. Let's see. We got the Vikings / Saints, Browns, Minnesota Vikings. Wait, great, Kens. Are you saying Vikings or are you saying Saints and Vikings?
I guess Vikings.
No.
I was torn between those 2. I don't know why I thought them, but
Vikings was written first.
Yeah,
that's true.
So Razor said Vikings. Reed said Browns.
Give me half a
Answer
point.
is the Minnesota Vikings. And fun fact, he wore 23 just like in NFL, just like he did in college. So
Yo. Why do you got to use a picture of him probably running down the throats of my Buccaneers? I know Ted's my boy, but
hey, listen, I just wanted to find one with color and like that was halfway decent quality, and this is basically what I found. So, I
I actually have his autograph on a helmet, and I've seen this picture, and I almost wanted to like make a funny remark about my Bucks. So next time I'd say him, I might need to try to get this one autographed.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. So Razor got that right. Reed, hey, listen, I probably would have guessed Browns too, brother.
I just
All right now we got
I didn't
Greg.
think about that.
Greg got 1. Ken's has got 0.9. Now we'll get
0.5.
one.
Browns missed a good. Shut up, Greg. The Browns missed a good chance.
Yeah, they did. And then Michael's got the big fat goose egg. But all right, y'all, let's move on to question number 2. What college team did NC State football head coach Michael Cain play his college football with?
I don't freaking know.
I don't know this one either.
Well, Reed, if you said Browns is a joke, I can't tell that from a comment. How am I supposed to know in a comment if you're joking or not? I mean, so
Can you give us like where this college is?
what team did
Like
NC
West
State football head
Coast,
coach?
East Coast.
So just let me say one more time for those listening. And what team, college football team, did NC State football head coach Michael Cain play his college football with? Does everybody, Greg, Michael, Ken's, all y'all need a hint?
I got no clue. So any hint? Yeah.
You can give us a coast.
I think I have an idea.
Let's put it this way.
Or
It could be a current or former ACC team. Is that better?
Could be.
Like, I don't want to say ACC because like what era ACC? Michael Cain ACC or now ACC? So
as soon as you said could be, I don't know why this
mhm.
clip sucks.
Hey, no looking at the comments. No looking at the comments. For Ken's, Michael, and Greg.
I don't know mine.
Well, you shouldn't
Okay.
say that because now I want to look at them.
Well, honors code, Michael. Honors code. All right. I see Greg still writing. We'll give you another 5 seconds, brother.
I'm trying to think of something clever to think.
So you don't know and you're just trying to say something clever?
No. Just because I think it has a tie-in with this weekend.
Okay.
Well, when you say that, mine's wrong.
All right, Greg. You got it? All right. Let's turn around, Tuffy Talk crew. Greg saying South Carolina down Spurs. Michael saying Tulane. Ken said Maryland. We got a couple people in the comments that are correct. Aiden and Reed.
Clemson
had the right state.
Played quarterback actually at Clemson. So and then he was offensive coordinator there for a while, quarterbacks coach. So yeah. So yep, nope. So Reed, Aiden, congrats y'all. Justin caught himself. Justin Rouse also said South Carolina, Greg. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
And then Preacher Man also too. Ken said Maryland. So both good options there. So all right, y'all. So we got one more football one, and then we got one baseball one. So so let's see. So nobody from Tuffy Talk side got that right. So which is very interesting.
No.
All right, question number 3. 3 NC State defensive linemen were taken in the first round of the 2006 NFL draft. Mario Williams, Ted Larson, and who?
Oh my gosh.
I think I know this one.
Yeah. So Mario Williams, Ted Larson, and who? Sorry, yeah. Manny Larson. Why did I say Ted Larson? Sorry about that.
Might have his name kind of wrong, but I think.
Yeah, no. Ignore that, y'all. I'm sorry. I was sitting here like, that's not Ted Larson. Yeah, Manny Lawson.
Yeah, Manny
Lawson. Sorry, y'all. So Mario Williams, Manny Lawson, and
oh, I was gonna say Manny Lawson was my answer.
I was like, Ted Larson was the center. What am I doing here? Yeah.
But he started on defense.
Okay.
Ted Larson did start on defense.
That's true. So
yeah, I knew that was the same.
Let me read the question one more time. 3 NC State defensive linemen were taken in the first round of the 2006 NFL draft. Mario Williams, Manny Lawson, and who?
I'm seeing some answers here that I'm questioning my answer, but I'm locked in.
Okay. And Michael, are you locked in?
I'm not even gonna attempt
I don't know.
All right.
I don't have an answer.
All right. Greg, let's see what you got.
Yeah, I have my cargo, but I don't think that's right.
That is right.
Oh,
John McCargo. Yep.
Let's go.
Drafted by the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So, yep, John McCargo again. Would I have gotten that right? I've been right there with you, Michael and Ken's for sure.
Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler's a popular one.
Tank Tyler's a popular guest for sure. Yep. No, sorry y'all about the Manny Lawson. Sorry about that. I just got the rhyme got mixed up in my head. So Ted Larson, Manny Lawson, my bad. So anyway, y'all. Yeah, that Preacher Man saying that was a beast defensive. That was a beast defensive line. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, no, that's definitely even though I would still say that Bradley Chubb, BJ Hill, Justin Jones, and Gatavius Street's up there in terms of definitely easily the second greatest. Still that, yeah, John McCargo, Tank Tyler, Manny Lawson, Mario Williams, that's pretty bad. So congratulations, Greg. 2-0, but 2
for 3. 2 for 3. Yeah.
Not too bad, but yep. So, all right, y'all. So we got one more question here, and this one is baseball related, and it's much more recent than any of the questions that we have seen here so far.
Oh, good.
All right. NC State baseball last hosted a baseball regional in 2018. Name 2 of the 3 teams that NC State hosted in that regional.
Well, I know one.
Okay. So and I'll give bonus points as well. And again, Ken's, Michael, Greg, stay away from looking at the comments, but let us know in the comments, y'all, what your answers are. And I would love to see all 3 again without Googling it.
We'll get bonus points if we say all 3.
Sure, I'll give a half bonus point for sure.
Half is crazy.
Well, here, Ken. I'll give you enough that if you get it and Greg doesn't, then you.
Well,
win.
then that does not help me. Like he's gonna get it. He just
he's sitting there. He's sitting there. So, yeah, North Wolf clarifying Tank was drafted in 2007, 1 year later. So, appreciate that, North Wolf. So, we'll give another 10 seconds here. But again, the question for those listening in, NC State baseball last hosted a regional in 2018. What were 2 of the 3 teams that NC State hosted in that regional? And a bonus, half a bonus point enough for Ken's to beat Greg if you can name all 3.
I don't even get a bonus point.
I think I'm mixing up years, but I've got 2 teams. But
okay. All right.
I might have 2 here.
All right. So if we're ready, Ken's, Michael, Greg, let me see the answers.
Hold on, I'm just making my bonus down here, so I lock my 2 in.
Okay, I did have the right year.
So Michael said Army and Coastal Carolina. Ken said Coastal and
Auburn.
And then Greg said Navy and Coastal Carolina. And then what did it say at the other bottom? Rice. Okay. So Rice, the only time we've ever really faced Rice
was earlier.
Yeah, I think it was 13. Too.
That was in the 2013 Super Regional. Before. So the answers are Auburn, Northeastern, and Army.
Not even Coastal.
No Coastal.
Yeah, Coastal was 2016,
like 17,
right?
16.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where they had the rain delay, and then we played the last inning the next day. That screwed us.
Yep.
All right, you got one. You got one there, Michael.
So Reed getting 2.
Was 2.
That's true.
It was a service academy. I just couldn't remember which one.
So Reed coming in, Army and Auburn. Aiden got all 3 right. Army, Auburn, and Northeastern.
Because that was the region we lost. We lost. Our Army was the 4 seed. We lost that opening Friday game.
I only knew it was Auburn because that's where Cam Newton went.
That's true. Well, and because if anybody remembers that Auburn, Florida Super Regional, how Auburn got knocked out of the Super Regional because a ball bounced off the Auburn outfielder's glove and over the fence. Remember that play? One of the most heartbreaking ways I've ever seen a Super Regional be lost. Yeah,
that's tough.
Crazy. That's a tough pill to swallow, no doubt. But anyway, y'all, I think that was a little bit more challenging. Definitely, I mean, I definitely got y'all a little thinking, and it looks like even from all the comments, I mean, the fact that nobody even got the 2006 one. But again, I totally would have forgot about John McCargo. So
I didn't.
There we go. Well, anyway, y'all. So with that being said, y'all, hope everybody enjoyed that. And let us know, y'all, if y'all enjoyed these NC State trivia. And if you have any fun NC State trivia questions, make sure to DM us them or email them to us, whatever. Definitely would love to do some trivia more often, especially now after baseball, once we head into that kind of that dead period between football. Alternate question for baseball. What team won the championship in 2016 when we hosted them in our regional?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Was coastal.
That did make that loss feel a little bit better that they went on to win.
Oh, well, especially because it was one of the most annoying losses ever. The fact that we should have won it, honestly, but we got, to be honest, a little screwed. I mean, the fact that the umpires waited until we walked 3 guys.
What are you talking about?
I know, right? What are we talking about here?
Especially in baseball.
Walk 3 guys.
And the pouring down rain. And then once it's been flooded, okay, then we'll call it. Got it. Yeah, and I still remember Kisner was the catcher. I remember when the umpire called it, Kisner literally stood up, turned around, and cussed him, man. Like he knew that was big.
And it's not like it was raining when the inning started. Like they did not need to wait 3 batters and then call it. Like they could have.
No,
especially with what was at stake.
My favorite comment.
Yeah. And that was when we had the Coach Avon spin move, the goat spin move. Yeah, whenever we build the Elliot Avon statue, that has to be the statue. Like if that's not the statue, it has
to be like movable.
Yeah, it needs a rotating statue.
Right? Got to.
Yes. No, it has to. And if it and seriously, like if they don't do that, we're starting a one of those signature things, and we're getting them
change.org.
Yeah, and we're gonna change that very quickly.
I mean, we'll build our own.
Yeah, 100%. Razor asking question, was most painful? Yeah, okay. You know what?
That's a no-brainer. That's the College World Series. Just because of the stakes that were the stakes.
I don't know. I made that trip to San Diego, and that was a pretty rough one.
Yeah, no, I get that, but it's the stakes. The stakes were much different.
No, yeah, it was. But my wallet was definitely San Diego.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm right with you with all the money I poured into Omaha.
Yep, absolutely. So that being said, Wolfpack Nation, now that we had a little bit of fun, before we start to really dive into the baseball regional and some of the other big things going on right now with NC State, we want to take a second here real quick and kind of come to you guys as NC State alumni, as, just people who've seen what has taken place at the Bell Tower. I believe it was overnight. And I want to preface this real quick and say that us at Tuffy Talk, we are, definitely always the people that are trying to be the glass half full, always being the people, that you can come to and, have fun and look at NC State's athletics with, just a lot of joy and excitement for sure. But definitely with what took place, we wanted to just make, a couple comments here real quick. And real quickly, none of this is going to be on the political side in terms of the Palestine versus Hamas, like all that jazz. We're not going to get into that, but there are a couple things which we wanted to make very, very clear from the Tuffy Talk side. So, Greg, I'll hand it over to you first, my man.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, we try to be apolitical on here. We're not one of those, trying to straight, what is that they say about basketball players and baseball players, just dribble the ball or throw the ball. And that's kind of like how we are with this podcast. But, yeah, just something that I think grinds all of our gears. I know we do that segment, but we didn't want to bring up the cartoon part of it just because of the seriousness of it. And no matter where you stand, one cannot condone graffiti of any kind, whether it's the messaging that was put on the bell tower where it says, go State and UNC sucks. None of that is appropriate for what the bell tower stands for. And for those that don't understand the bell tower, it was built in honor of the World War I NC State alumni that passed away, and in a sense kind of become a rallying cry for all veterans that have served, having lost their life in the line of duty for the military. That bell tower has 34 names on the inside of it, representing those folks that died during World War I. Ironically, 34 names are there, but only 33 alumni actually died during World War I. One is actually a misprint, and that plaque now stands for all of the kind of the unknowns that have passed in following wars, and kind of just counts for everybody there. And it's a memorial that was started in 1920 and kind of finished around 1938, 39. And it's become a rallying place for NC State, whether it's a big event, whether it's students graduating, whether it's winning a big ball game. But, the real meaning of it is, let's pay homage to those that pay the ultimate sacrifice. And for it to be graffitied, again, no day is acceptable, but for it to happen on Memorial Day is the most atrocious thing that could happen. I would hope that the community comes together, no matter if you're a Duke fan, a Carolina fan. These people need to be brought to justice. I think it was extremely cowardly that you wore all black and covered your face because you didn't have the balls, excuse my language, to be that person. And I hope that this community rallies around that. And I hope that these people, these vigilantes, are brought to justice and proper justice is served, and we don't let them off with a warning or a silly fine. Like, I hope serious stuff is taken into consideration, because it's a true disrespect to the people that gave their lives for that tower and the people that are still out there on the front lines, allowing us to do podcasts, allowing us to watch a ball game this weekend. It's utter trash what you did. And I hope you come to justice, and I hope you face what's coming to you.
Amen. And the Kens, go ahead and add your point too.
What Greg said, the fact that it was on Memorial Day just is sickening to me to even think about, like, just the disrespect that I feel for every veteran and all the families of the people that have those names inside the bell tower. Like, I can't even imagine the disrespect that they feel. It's just the fact that you literally have a way to express your feelings less than half a mile from the bell tower, where you can
tunnel.
at the free expression tunnel. I am all for stating your views, how you feel, being on that. I do that all the time. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But the fact that you took the time to disrespect, and I mean just basically embarrass yourself and the university by doing something like that, it's sickening. And I really hope the Aloft have cameras pointing. I really hope that these students get expelled, and I really hope that they.
Well, we don't know they're students, so let's not make that assumption.
Might not be students.
These could be just bad actors.
I just hope that they get the justice they deserve, and I hope that all the veterans out there know and understand that that's not what NC State stands for at all. It is not condoned in any way, and we are just as sick about it as y'all are.
And I want to make it clear too, as well, that if it's not already, that whatever was put on there about the Palestine, Hamas, and all that jazz, that doesn't matter. Literally, somebody could have spray painted on their NC State Final Four, and we would still be feeling the exact same way. The timing of it adds a little bit on it, but spray painting something like that in general is just disgusting. So
it's ridiculous.
So in terms of what kind of punishment, should be handed down, that's not for us to decide, but we hope that whatever it is, it's significant. Let's put it that way. So
here's the other thing that, and again, I'm not trying to get political in this. No matter what you put on that bell tower, no one is going to side with you with whatever you put on that. It's completely unacceptable behavior, and that I think someone said in here that it's childish behavior. Reed did, and I couldn't.
Selfish.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into this because I may say something that I will regret. But bottom line is whoever did this, you're trash. And again, I hope you face the music for whatever you did. And I believe me, people will not sleep until you come to justice.
Amen. All right, Michael, anything to add on to that, my man?
No, I think they covered it pretty well.
Yeah. No.
Go to the free expression tunnel. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. Nope.
Leave our.
Well, that's just it. Here, so, and again, definitely not condoning behavior, but their message wasn't going to get through at the free expression tower. They needed to make a bigger statement, and that was what they chose to do it, and where they chose to do it at.
I better hope it can get cleaned off.
So they've done a really good job so far cleaning it. They've still got some more to do, but yeah. And there's and I so forgot his name. He used to be the Chancellor of Student Affairs. And I apologize, I can't remember his name, but the gentleman, I mean, he's like the keeper of the Memorial Tower. He's given hundreds of tours of it. He's
talking about.
Yeah, I just can't remember his name, but someone like that who's poured their heart into the upkeep, and just a few years ago they put $55 million into that thing. A lot of people don't realize that they did a huge refurbishment about 4 or 5 years ago.
I mean, it was closed down whenever we beat Duke. I mean, we couldn't go and celebrate at the Bell Tower for like a whole year after that. It was getting refurbished.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Aiden right there. Exactly right. It just doesn't. People don't. It's not out in the open for everyone to see. So chances are these probably weren't students just because of the timing of it, and I sure hope not. But regardless,
Amen.
It's if they are students, good luck with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, better
all right,
go
y'all.
tagging.
Yeah, right. All right, y'all. But with that being said, y'all, again, just wanted to just take a minute there and just shed some light on that. That's definitely something this morning that all of us, being in-state alumni, but also too just human beings that we're just sick of. So, so with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, let's use transition here, jumping into some tweets of the week to kind of switch on over from the
lighten the mood
to the fun side. So let's jump on over tweets of the week, y'all. Woo! All righty, y'all. So we are jumping into Tuffy's tweets of the week here again, rolling. But first of all, again, thank you so much to all the comments so far. Definitely keep them coming. Any questions, thoughts, concerns, especially about this NC State baseball regional, make sure again, y'all, to put in the chat, and we will get to as many of, if not all of them, here today. But Greg Razor brings up a question which I know in the Discord seemed pretty straight and clear, but it is a question of the fact that the last game that NC State played in, Sam Highfield started. And Don Fritton and Logan Whitaker didn't play. So, doesn't make sense to give Sam Highfield a little bit of rest, since Dom and Whitaker are now definitely 100% ready to go. They're going to be a little bit fresher than Sam would be. So do you maybe see Dom against, Bryant or yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into this because we're definitely going to be doing previews, so we don't really want to kind of double what we're saying. But you can make an argument for any number of folks. I haven't really had a chance to dive into Bryant's lineup, or whether if they're lefty or righty strong. That will go into determining, who you could see pitching. You could make a case for Marone, Sam, or Dom. But it boils down to how much do you think Bryant is a threat to you, right? Do you go out and just make a statement? Do you play each game you definitely play each game to win, but like how confident are you that you could roll with certain pitchers, right? And if you look at a team like Wake Forest, they're probably not going to throw Burns the first game, right? They would probably save him for ECU. We don't have that dominant guy. We've got a lot of really good guys, really good, strong pitchers. So you could play this any number of ways, but that's where I'm going to go for now, and we'll talk about it more in our preview.
Agreed. Michael, any additional thoughts on that?
Yeah, I actually think the only guy you won't see is Dom. I think they'll definitely save him for Saturday's game.
Yeah. Again.
But I could see Highfield starting and just kind of try and keep the normal weekend rotation, or like Greg was saying, maybe Whitaker, maybe Marone. Try and if you can get those guys are good enough. They should be able to handle Brian, right? They're the 4 seed for a reason. And then you've got, your best arms ready the rest of the weekend. If you can, it works both ways. You've got your best arms ready the rest of the weekend if you win, and if you lose, you probably have an advantage having your best arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you look at that RPI Brian of 115, that doesn't really scare you, but they can hit. They're not really great pitching, and they're not the best defensively. Yeah. So, we know State can slug, but do you want to get in a slugging match with Bryant? Probably not. So, you probably want to go lock them down.
Yeah. And before
I will say that one more point I want to say, whoever it is, you need to have somebody ready quick, because that was the one thing we didn't see in Duke, where Sam went strong 4 innings, got into a jam in the 5th, and they just didn't have anyone. And then there was a grand slam and it's 6-0. So
I think it was
started warming somebody up.
I think it was like 5 minutes. It went from 0-0 in real time. 5 minutes. It went from 0-0 to 5-0.
Yeah, I went and got a beer and came back, and it was 6-0.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I do want to just after this live show, actually, Greg and Michael will be jumping on with the guys from Just Means Less ACC, who is a part of the college baseball C&T crew. Who covers all things college baseball nationally. So they'll be jumping on with them to do a full preview, and that episode will come out tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But yeah, I see Aiden here in the chats agreed. Save Dom for I wouldn't even save Dom for Sunday. I would save him for Saturday. But
well, remember, Dom pitched against South Carolina last year in the regional, so it wouldn't be. I mean, granted, there's some carryover guys from last year that were on that team. So, and he pitched pretty well.
And I'll give my thoughts because I won't be a part of the preview, and then Ken's, I'll be interested in your thoughts as well. But I mean, I think that with Bryant, I don't think you can overlook them. Like, I think you take it seriously. I mean, especially because the worst case scenario, you would not want to lose to the 4 seed first game of the regional. That's just definitely not what you want. So I think you see Whitaker, who is a solid weekend starter. You know what you get with him. He's going to get you in a position to, that if the batting can do their job, we should win that game handily. And then, I think that, between Dom or Sam, you see them against South Carolina, and, and then whichever one doesn't start, you see them in the next game, etc. And then Maroon's kind of, in my opinion, if you have to go to game 7, or if you lose the first one to South Carolina and you have to play the other one between Dom or Sam, then you see maybe Maroon start in that second game against South Carolina, but take it from there. But I think at the end of the day, you got to put your best foot forward. You got to do everything you can to try and win those first 2 games and put yourself in a position that all you have to do is just win one of the next 2 to advance to the regional. You can't necessarily play for that game 7. You got to try and get it done as quickly as you can. So, Kenzie, would you agree with that, or would you have a different synopsis on your thoughts on who we might see pitching wise this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, like, just knowing Coach Avent and just seeing like how he sets it up throughout the season, I don't see him making any big changes going into the regional. But I do think he's going to save Dom for South Carolina, because I mean, I feel like, we shouldn't overlook anybody. State fans know not to overlook anyone, but I feel like we would much rather want a Dom pitching for South Carolina than a Bryant, because I feel like, I think any of our pitchers can handle Bryant, if I'm being completely honest. So that's how.
Hey, real quick, I want to make a correction. Reed is right. Willetton did pitch the Saturday game. I forgot they shut Dom down with arm issues last year, so that was my mistake there. So I just wanted to clarify that.
That's right. He didn't even pitch in the regional.
No, he didn't even pitch. I just realized it when I looked it up. I just looked it up, and they lost 6-3 in that game, and Willetton pitched. Then I was like, oh yeah, Dom couldn't even pitch.
Yeah. So with that being said, though, too, I do want to take a step back now that we kind of touched a little bit about this regional and talk about the ACC tournament. As I know that there was really only 2 games. First one, Virginia Tech, and I mean it was really 2 games of 2 different faces. I mean, Virginia Tech side, we just absolutely just dominated Virginia Tech, and there's not really much to really break down about the Virginia Tech game besides we just really dominated. We controlled that game from start to finish. We let Virginia Tech get back into it a little bit, but with a team like Virginia Tech and with their season on the line, you knew they weren't going to go down without a fight. So, I mean, people were worried. I wasn't necessarily worried. I was seeing Virginia Tech come back as like that last ditch effort that, just all in, let's see what we can do. And just NC State just had too much for him that day. But Greg, I do want to ask you though about Duke, man, that like you said that, with Sam just got caught, in a bad situation. And, people all around me saying, you got to pull Sam. It's like, well, we don't have anybody ready yet. And then why don't we have anybody ready? Well, because up until that point, Sam Heifel was doing pretty good, up until that inning. And then just the wheels fell off. But I do want to ask, is the Avent family name, is it cursed? I really do wonder, man. I'm telling you, poor Avent, man. Dude, he just can't get ACC championship tournament to go his way, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, not making excuses, and I know Sam's the first person that wouldn't make an excuse, but it sure felt like that zone got tightened up, and I couldn't see, from there was a lot of pitches from where I was sitting in the stands that looked good. I didn't have the benefit of sitting at home in my Barker lounger and getting the square and kind of seeing where the ball was actually coming over. But it sure felt that a couple of those pitches were like, and I think he walked. No, he walked at least one. I think he walked at least two, and then the big fly. And man, the ball carried in that ballpark at Trios Field, and
God,
I think he gave up what? I think we gave up 3 home runs that night. So and look, we just didn't have an answer for their pitching.
Their pitcher is Healy is great.
Yeah,
he's just different.
He was in control, and I was actually surprised they pulled him when they did, because he had a low pitch count and he was gliding, and maybe the plan was to try to maybe bring him back on Sunday or whatever. I don't know the strategy, but then the next 2 dudes that they brought in were just as good, and we just didn't have an answer. We ended up only getting out hit by 1, which didn't even feel like it. I think they had 6 hits and we had 5. The long fly obviously hurt us, and then we kind of scratch and claw to run at the end to at least get on the board and not get shut out. But just the bats just went silent, man. That's baseball. One night you can score 19, and the next you barely score 1. And pitching will do that to you. Pitching will make you look silly.
Let's not let the score make us forget about that amazing catch. That was
that was a great catch to
keep us from getting mercy.
Yeah, that was a great catch by Souls and Wright. I mean, that was a beautiful catch.
Beautiful catch.
Yeah, I mean, if that doesn't happen, you're right. We get mercied, and we probably lose 11-0, because that thing would have probably cleared the bases.
And that shows the fight. And I feel like that play right there shows the fight in the guys. Like any other team, I feel like would be like, you know what? Let's just get this crap over with. I don't even want to. I just want to go get ready for postseason. But then that catch by him is saying, look, like, it ain't over. We're not going to go out like this.
Nope.
And so I just thought that was an amazing play from him.
Well, especially with how many comebacks this team has accomplished this season. Dang, Greg.
Sorry. I was trying to do a search real quick. That was awesome.
Well, especially with the amount of comebacks that we've had this year, we were never out of it, which is,
you never know. We could have scored 7 in the 9th.
You never know.
Well, I mean, we kept hitting the ball. Yeah, we just kept hitting it on the screws, but they just had people there, man. I mean, I think the pitcher made a really nice play on one of them, like early in the game. We just couldn't get the ball.
Was on fire.
Yeah, we hit right into their shifts. Everything, it just didn't go our way that night, and that's baseball.
So we'll get to your question, Preacher Man, here right after this. But I do want to get to the one question which people are talking about is the format of the tournament. And I know it's kind of one of those things where it's like, because it didn't go our way, it's easy to say, yeah, I don't like the format. But I just like you said, though, Greg, the fact that baseball's it's a game of luck. Some of it is definitely a game of luck. And not to necessarily say that Duke won just because they got lucky. At the end of the day, I mean, they played
they outplayed the heck out of Florida State.
Well, and the Duke head coach said it best. I mean, that was a complete game from Duke. I mean, they just played phenomenal on both sides, and they ended up being the ACC champions. So they just they were on fire that weekend. But the fact
the whole tournament,
right? But I mean, the fact that one loss and you're out, it
essentially
leads it leads to a lot of basically situations where the team that gets crowned at the end may not truly be the best team or even close to the best team. It could just be sometimes the luckiest team. But so I Michael, do you think that this format for the tournament should be shifted at all?
I don't know. I mean, I've never been a fan of single elimination for baseball. I mean, and like no other postseason has a single elimination. It's just like, I don't know. They probably won't change it because I think it does. Like you're not playing as many games, and a lot of teams are more focused on the regionals anyway, so they don't want to burn a lot of arms in the conference tournament. So I see it from both sides, but as a fan, like for winning it, I would definitely prefer a double elimination style, but.
Well, and let me add one comment, and let me add one thing, and then Greg, I'll hand over to you. Like, so the American Athletic Conference, because obviously I was keeping up with ECU over the weekend just for kicks the giggles.
How they do?
Yeah, not too great. But yet they're hosting. But we'll talk about
We'll
that
talk
here.
about that.
Here in a little. We'll talk about that. But so their format with the American Athletic Conference is kind of more of a regional style esque, where it's the double elimination basically, but with less teams that make it to the conference title. But the reason why I think it's important for conferences like that to have a true winner, like AK not single elimination, is because a lot of times the team that is winning that conference title means a lot to conferences like that, because a conference like that won't have as many automatic bids as a conference like ACC, where we had 9 make it to the 8 make it to the NCAA tournament. So just like you said, for whoever wins the ACC probably was going to make it to the tournament anyway, while with a conference like the American Athletic, that team that wins may or may not have already been slotted for an NCAA tournament bid. But go ahead, Greg. What were your thoughts?
No, I kind of like the way the SEC does it, where the first round is single elimination and then you go double elimination from that. Exactly. Yeah. What Aiden's saying. So I do kind of like that format. But again, geez, Leighton.
That was me.
Oh, it was Mackenzie. I was hoping.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But again, baseball is just that sport. You have single elimination in like the ACC basketball tournament, which again, it makes sense, but it's not as matchup driven like a baseball team is, where you have 12 guys on a roster essentially for basketball, and you have essentially 30 on a postseason baseball. And so there's so many different combinations, and lefty on righty, lefty on lefty specialist. Like there's just it's such a matchup driven game. And you get the right matchup, and you just don't have an answer for it like we did against Duke.
Well, and Aiden makes a great point that that during the regular season you play 3-game series. Why? Because basically you want whoever
true representation.
You want true representation of between these two teams, who is the better team right now, and not just who had the ball going their way that day. So why do you have it one way during the regular season, but then during the tournament it's different? It's a good point. So, but again, I definitely don't want to necessarily come off as like, well, you're just mad because it didn't work out your way, because obviously if we had beaten Duke, then we would be sitting very pretty to win it all. Let's put it that way. And it would have worked out perfectly for Greg. He could have had the opportunity to get that game 3 against FSU, and but
I'm sorry, that was funny.
Yeah, no, it just didn't happen. So, so with that being said, though, Preacher Man did ask the question of where did his question go? But what was the biggest tournament snub? Oh, here it was. Yeah, who was the biggest snub not to make a regional? So we'll talk about the hosting debacle, but who was the biggest snub to not make a regional? And for me, I mean, it kind of hits a little bit to home because it's a team that's very close by here to the North Carolina area, but College of Charleston definitely. I feel for them for sure. That's definitely
seeing that or that interview with their coach just hurts you.
The problem for College Charleston, just so everybody knows, that even though yes, they did make it to their conference tournament championship finals, yes, they
CAA.
had one of the best records, but the problem is their out of conference schedule was well over 200 ranked. In the country. Yeah. So out of conference was very, very weak for them. But for a team whose RPI was 42, aka well within the 64 team, range, they were at 42. You definitely feel pretty good. I mean, being 41-14 overall, 15-5 on the road, 24-9 at home. I mean, that's
you should feel confident going.
You should feel confident, and the fact that you made it to the tournament title game, like you're sitting there feeling pretty good. But yeah, again, I think that the out of conference strength of schedule being well over 200 is what kept them out. Greg, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say for those mid majors, it's really tough to get good games because teams just don't want to schedule you, because then you become a bad loss to them, and so it becomes a scheduling nightmare. And if you get a good team, like an NC State, you're getting one game in the middle of the week, and the committee is not putting much emphasis on that. So I feel for those guys. For me, the biggest snub, I kind of like thought Lamar. Like Lamar was a team that won like 44 games, 45 games, something ridiculous. Beat the Big 12 champion, swept the Big 12 champion Oklahoma on their home field. That for me, I think without going full conspiracy theory, because it's easy to go full 10 hat on this. This is a money driven event, and it's going to drive the big names. The SEC, ACCs, the ESPN has a very vested interest in this tournament. And there's a reason why you see 11 SEC teams get the nod to get in the tournament. A 28-27 Florida team gets in, and I get it. They had a great strength of schedule. That was probably their only saving grace. But damn, you got to go win those games. Like, just because it's not a participation trophy.
Exactly.
Florida was 28-27. They were barely above 500.
And that's like what Razor said. Like Louisville, Florida gets in over Louisville, and that's just I don't get that.
Yeah, and Louisville kind of came on strong at the end, but they're anyway. But I thought Lamar let these little guys kind of come in and wreak some havoc, and this is their quote unquote Super Bowl, their World Series, just making the tournament. And we'll talk about these teams like Bryant, who hasn't been in forever. JMU hasn't been in over 11 years, and we'll talk about those in our previews. It means something for these teams to get in, just like it does in the NCAA basketball tournament. Normally the CAA is a really good conference. You have Campbell in there, but Campbell had a down year, and so when the teams that you expect to be really good don't perform, it brings down the conference as a whole.
I guarantee you that if Florida didn't make the NCAA tournament, there's not one Florida fan looking at 29-20 overall record saying, "What? We got screwed." Like, no, they're like on to football.
No, I mean they would play the RPI game and the strength of schedule game, and
they
have more to play, but they have more to look forward to than just like you said.
No, you'd be surprised. Florida takes baseball very seriously, extremely seriously.
But just like you said, though, again, it's these teams Super Bowls. That is their thing. Is baseball, and sitting there at 29-28. That's my other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is you were barely above 500, and you're but I know, I hear
you play the number one conference,
right? Exactly. Yeah,
and I just think that's stupid. The conference you play in is if you make it to the postseason or not, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you have so many teams in that conference finished 13-17 and got bids.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and Reed saying, I mean, College Charleston won 40+ games. Which is I mean, but just like you said, the consistency goes a long way. The fact that College Charleston could consistently win on a regular basis, I mean, that should mean something in a sport like baseball. But and then also pointing out High Point in it for the first time in a long time as well. Thank you, Preacher Man, for pointing that out. Well, let's get to it, y'all. Let's get down to the
they made sure that they talked about their basketball program, which was annoying as hell. Like on the baseball preview, it was like, "Oh, the High Point team got to the basketball tournament." Okay, great. Who gives a crap? Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So obviously the talks about ECU getting the 16th overall seed and Duke not hosting. So I just want to lay out a couple of facts here real quick. So Duke in RPI is 16, ECU was 22. Strength of schedule, Duke was at 21, ECU strength of schedule 71. Duke overall record 39-18, ECU 43-15, but they lost 2 games to Wichita State in their conference tournaments, who I'm still scrolling trying to find Wichita State. I'm still scrolling and I can't find them. But either way, and Duke was your ACC tournament champion, and so like Greg, honestly, your whole I'm not going to go all theory. It's fact, yo. Come on, that's the only reason that Duke did not host and ECU did.
ECU baseball is I don't like them. My mom's a big fan, so of course we go to watch games. It's electric when you're playing at ECU. It's just it's a great place to play.
That matters.
If you see a game on TV and it says at ECU for baseball, you're gonna click on it. You're gonna watch it. The entire fan base for their baseball team is just insane. So I feel like that's going to bring a lot more eyes and very much money to.
And people saying Well, people saying that Duke should just play at Durham Bulls. They don't have that choice because that has to be scheduled
event.
well in advance. And Duke and Durham Bulls just can't have like that regional weekend open just in case Duke is an opportunity to host a regional. Like they can't do that. So yes, no, it 100% the facilities went into that decision. No doubt about it.
1,000%.
Yeah,
So-
there's no other.
The
There's
only-
no metric where you could pick ECU over Duke. There's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Power 5 conference versus a
I
group
think
of
it's-
5.
But
Go
they
ahead, Mike.
obviously are not taking in conference tournament into account
No.
because I mean you can't
No.
there's no explanation where the winner of the ACC tournament doesn't get to host
Because
unless it's like a total like Miami. Like obviously
Miami.
if Miami won, they wouldn't have got to host. But this is a fringe host team. If they win the tournament, you would think that puts them over. But they must have just thrown all that out. And then
I mean,
just
let's be
go off the
real.
regular season.
ECU was that close from having one of the most embarrassing tournament losses ever, losing to 23-36 Rice. That I mean, Rice should have won, but they totally blew the game. Rice blew the game. Yes, ECU made the play, sure, but Rice had opportunities, easy opportunities to win the game, and they just couldn't do it. So, and then on the Duke side, they beat NC State. They beat Miami. They beat FSU.
I mean, and not
FSU's
just
top 10
not
team.
just
Like,
beat FSU and beat
man.
State. Like they were dominant the entire time. Like
Yeah.
there was not a single minute you were like, okay,
Yeah.
this game's gonna be close. Like no, Duke had it
Yeah.
all the way through. I just think it's a slap in the face for Duke. I really do.
Well,
What- and-
especially. Go ahead.
well, and the fact that Aiden said
Yeah.
Duke beat ECU as well. So go ahead, Greg.
No, just the mere fact is the RPI matters when it doesn't, and they kept harping on the RPI, and then you like, well, wait a minute, the 16th, which by the way, the top 16 hosts, so you're right in line for a 16 seed, but no, you go 6 spots above that and give them the host. Now was. I know there's a lot of other conspiracy theories, and I think maybe I'll throw that question out next. Was there an ECU representative on the committee as well?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
there
yeah,
was.
and I know they leave the room until they come back, but you can sure
Right.
make
Quote,
everyone
unquote.
else's. Yeah, you can make everyone else more uncomfortable. So you kind of you don't talk about your team per se, but you make the other team sound so bad that it lifts your team up by proxy.
Yeah.
So, but. So I guess to me that was the biggest. Like, what was the biggest non-conspiracy theory of college baseball? Because you have the host situation, you have the teams that got snubbed, you have the ACC basically playing an SEC number 2 in every regional. You have the SEC playing a non-Power 5 in their regionals. What's kind of the biggest conspiracy theory that you guys believe in?
Good question.
That's dude, that's a loaded question right there. I mean, for me, I think it's very. First of all, also too, I think it's interesting that Duke not only didn't host, but technically by how they were seated and who they're facing, technically they weren't close. Like if
Right.
Duke was in ECU's regional, it would
Right.
kind of make
That would
sense.
make sense.
Yeah.
A little bit. And honestly, oh my gosh, dude, the NCAA missed out on a huge opportunity. That would honestly, if I were Duke, I'd be okay with that a little bit, man, because you could go and raise some heck, and there are going to be a lot of eyes watching that regional, man. If Duke had gone to ECU, oh my gosh, that'd have been must-watch TV. So,
But instead you send to Oklahoma. Like,
Right.
Yeah, that makes
like
no
what?
sense.
But then you have the Florida conspiracy theory, right? And they weren't even like a last 4 in. They were comfortably in the tournament,
Right.
like
Yeah.
comfortably.
Yeah.
What?
The last 4 in.
And it's interesting too how JMU was a last 4 in, and they're against us. So, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about that during the previews, I'm sure. But I mean, I'm sitting here, if I'm being like, wait, our number 3 seed is a team that was one of the last 4 in. Okay, all right. I'm not upset
Yeah,
against that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
I
complaining.
mean,
But Michael, Ken, do y'all have any better answers to Greg's question about biggest conspiracy theory?
I mean, it's just all about the money and
Exactly.
SEC brings the most money and the most eyeballs, so it's going to be favored.
It's all the conspiracy theories about the college football playoff committee has, but just on a little bit of a lesser scale. That's all it is.
They care about is money, and if it's not going to bring in the most money, then they're not going to pick it. Like, I mean, everybody you can guarantee ECU is going to bring in more money than Duke would. Like, that's just a fact. But that's pathetic. Like, I feel bad for Duke because they dominated, and then it's like a slap in the face to go to freaking Oklahoma to play.
It's much easier for the SEC to win a national championship when you're sending 11 teams to it.
Yeah,
the odds are much better for you when you have 11 chances in the pot.
Yep. Well, and again, like, honestly, it bugs the crap out of me because I wonder how much of a bump ECU got by their two midweek wins against us, when I can easily go to that committee and be like, again, we didn't put any of our 3 weekend starters. Give them a weekend series against us. Guarantee we win that series. Guarantee a weekend series, we win it. It happening. So
especially if it's in the latter part of the regular season. The earlier part of the season, I'm not so sure about that. But if it was played in the last month and a half of the season, like if you would have replaced ECU, with Ball State, or if you would have done that, I would definitely agree with that statement.
Agreed. Yeah. Because Reed actually was one here actually pointed that out to me. So great point. And again, Reed saying way too much love for the SEC again. I mean,
in every freaking sport, and it's so annoying.
Hey, when you're the squeaky wheel, when
wheel gets the oil.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the biggest platform on ESPN with the SEC network, where you routinely hear Sankey out in front of things all the time, and Phillips is the last one to respond to something. Like, he's so far behind the times. It's like, oh, maybe we should do that because it's successful in other places. Yeah, right. Good idea, guys.
Well, and I want to point out here too, let's see, the last 4 national champions have been from the SEC.
Yeah, the last time Oregon State, I think it was.
Oregon State was 2018. Yep, they were the last non-SEC team to win the national championship was Oregon State, and then the year before that was Florida, and then the year before that was Coastal, and then
Virginia before that.
So again, I mean, just the SEC has dominated over the last 6-7 years, basically. So,
but again, you look at their facilities, and I mean, they do it right. They definitely do it right in the SEC. I think we have 1, maybe 2 stadiums in the ACC that's somewhat comparable to the SEC. I mean, the SEC literally builds Taj Mahals for baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Aiden bringing up.
I like that question right.
We need an over on 4. Well, so wait, but we got to do half. So are you doing 3 and over under 3.5 or over under 4.5, Greg?
4.5.
4.5. All right. So
set the line 4.5.
4.5. So let us know in the comments. Are you over or under 4.5 Tommy White home runs again?
Never thought I'd put on my Tommy White shirt again.
I know.
Gotta find it in my closet.
Anybody who's been following Tuffy Talk for quite some time knows where I feel about Tommy White. But I mean, I've always said there's very, very, very few things in the history of life that I would not cheer over UNC.
Yeah. If it was any other, I'm not pulling for him anywhere else. But Carolina, 100%.
But definitely, I sat there when LSU got put to UNC. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Look, there were so many storylines. We talk about conspiracy theories. There's so many that could have sent Vandy here for a 2021 rematch. Ooh, they could have sent Tommy Tanks here.
That would have been perfect. They missed a good opportunity.
They definitely missed some opportunities there where they could have.
In that game, we could have said whoever wins gets the 2021 trophy.
Yeah, but again, and Reed, says, I think UNC pitches them well. I think they're not going to let him beat them. I hope I'm wrong. Again, man, LSU they won the national championship last year for a reason. They lost some, with Paul Skeens, etc. But I mean, they're a team that can make some noise. I mean, they came back and beat South Carolina in the SEC tournament. So I'm sitting here saying I would rather have South Carolina, and this is me because I'm not doing the previews, Greg and Michael are, but I'm sitting here saying I'm much happier with South Carolina than I would LSU because LSU has the power to go, while with South
Tommy
Carolina,
White
I think,
coming back to Raleigh, he would
he
would have a vendetta against.
that would be that'd be disgusting. I wouldn't be a fan of that.
I wouldn't even watch. But what about Preacher Man's comment? How many strikeouts will Burns have against ECU?
Oh, I mean, so let's talk about that one real quick. I mean, with Wake,
14.
Yeah, over under 14 and a half. 14 and a half. I mean, I don't know. Let's put it this way. All right. Let's put it this way. Because you're not going to put Burns in game 1. You're going to save him for the ECU match.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if Wake Forest can go and just accomplish half of what they usually do, hitting the ball, they're going to beat ECU in that first game. So then it's just of the rest of their bullpen, which AK their bullpen just get one win. One win. You know what I mean? That's all you need. Just one win over ECU out of 2, and you're going to win that regional. But Greg, I know you kind of shared a little bit of thoughts about it, right, with that Wake Forest ECU regional.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good regional. Like I said, there's no doubt Burns goes game 2. I could see him easily punching out 11 or 12. Again, how far will you let him go? Because I felt like against us, he probably could have pitched one more inning against us, and that game shortens. And if you, to your point, there's no guarantee that they win those games. It took extra innings against Carolina on Friday night for Wake Forest to pull it out, and Burns gets a no decision.
Go ahead. They don't let them go usually more than like 90 pitches.
Nope,
at most.
Nope. So, will they let him go? And because. I mean, there's a slim chance that's an elimination game. There's no guarantees that they both end up in the winners bracket. I mean, you would assume they probably do, but if I'm ECU, I stay patient, run his pitch count up, and get to that bullpen.
Yep. But again, ECU is going to have to rely on their pitching to keep them in the game, which we were able to do. But with what I saw from ECU in the tournament, I mean, like you can't give up 3, 4, 5 runs even against the Burns-led Wake Forest. You got to be that 1 or 2 runs and just weigh it out. That's all.
And the ball seems to fly there in ECU too. So Wake can slug.
That's right. Yep. So we'll see. It's gonna be a heck of a regional. So all right, y'all. But yeah, I got to give a shout out though to Mincy from College Barstool, who actually is a Ole Miss fan. Ole Miss fan who picked NC State plus 3,500 to win the college football series, saying the Wolfpack are lava hot and looking to redeem the 2021 COVID Bowl Loney. So So I mean, for being an Ole Miss guy, Mincy, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
I saw a tweet from it was some state account. I don't think it was Barstool, but I mean, had you ready to run through a brick wall. It was like, what if the freshman Sam Haifa was supposed to be the leader of the 2024 team? Like this was all.
Yeah, that sounds like a 30 for 30. That sounded like a 30 for 30. Like
it did, and I was like, oh shoot! I fully believe, and that tweet got me. So I got to chill out for a little bit.
And I had to bring this up too. I mean, I know we only have a few minutes left to spend so much time talking about college baseball. We can't honestly get off this live show. We're talking a little bit about Abby Lampy once again, who Greg, Michael, and myself got a chance to meet in person at the Final Four, which was awesome. And
met her in Sedona in the middle of a mountain.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Before she fell down a mountain. And I'm telling you, because just remind everybody. So Abby won the cheese wheeling competition 2 years ago, and she was the first woman American to ever win the competition. So now to win it 2 times in the last 3 years, I mean, that's pretty epic to say the least. I mean, like NC State, you have up there being the first school to ever cut down the nets. And you have Abby Lampy, the first woman American to win the wheeling cheese competition and to win it 2 times in the last 3 years.
I bet they still
right there, right?
Imagine how much cheese they've ate the past 3 years.
So much.
I have a comment that I want to make, but I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just think about what cheese does to the human body.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I
We'll
wouldn't
think
want to
about
eat
that,
cheese
Greg.
anymore. I wouldn't want to eat cheese anymore.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'm sure she's over it.
Plus, I hear that's not even a good tasting cheese, from what I understand.
Yeah. Which, by the way, to Justin saying, I like Mincy, but that's the kiss of death if you follow his picks. I don't like that he picked us. LOL.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Yeah, he's bad. But, hey,
everybody's
listen,
everybody's
that
horrible.
could be the pick. That could be the pick. Well, especially when you make plus 3,500 picks. It's not like he picked Texas A&M. He picked a long shot, So, I mean, yeah. But anyway, does anyone know what kind of cheese actually it is? Wilmar's asked.
Yeah, so go back to our interview with her in 2022, and that will answer your question if I can plug an old video.
Sure.
We did have her on the
and she said that I do remember her saying her family did a charcuterie board for the entire neighborhood with the cheese she went in 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then another tweet of the week from David Hale saying NC in the last 2 months has had a men's Final Four, a women's Final Four, baseball regional host, and a Cooper's Hill cheese rolling champion. What a run. Pressure's on Dave Doran now more than ever, though.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, us NC State fans, we're riding high. We're sitting
ready.
at the top of the mountain right now.
94 days.
94 days. But who's counting, right?
I have a countdown on my phone that goes off at midnight every day.
Yeah. And then also too, want to give a shout out as well to the NC State Ice Packs team, who officially in 2025-2026 season will be bumped up to the ACC/ACC-HA combo to basically bring them up to a Division I level, but it's not the NCAA Division I level. So, AKA, we're not going to be competing against Boston College and all the big guys. We're not going to have an opportunity towards the Frozen Four, but it's basically the level right below that. So it's still going to be a club level team, but at the highest level. That's basically what it is. So it's going to be some upgraded competition. So excited to see it for sure. There's been a lot of jazz around this Ice Pack team over the last few years, and so excited to see what this team can do. And a huge, shout out to Tim Healy and the staff for putting together a very, very exciting product for NC State fans to enjoy every year. So excited about what this Ice Pack team has coming in the next few years. And then lastly as well, got to give a shout out to big news from me for sure, which is the official return of Chloe Negretti, NC State gymnast, graduate student who's coming back for one more year. She had submitted her application for a medical red shirt because she missed 2 years ago the entire season due to tearing her ACL and or her Achilles, one of the two. And so it got check marked, would you believe or not? So the three event first team all ACC gymnast from last season is coming back for one more year. So again, y'all get hyped. NC State Gymnastics is going to be a solid product next season. Enjoy it. Take advantage of it, y'all. So, all right, y'all. So with that being said, I know we don't, we'll probably wrap this up right here, y'all. So, I know we didn't necessarily get to everything. We spent a little bit more time talking about college baseball than we originally thought. And we had all the trivia, but again, y'all, appreciate all the amazing comments and questions here for sure. Just saying the big question for those of us at the regional this weekend, what's on the menu, Greg?
Yeah, we're going to go, good ballpark fare. We're going to do hot dogs. We're going to do brats. We're going to do Italian sausages. We're going to do burgers. Probably smoke a couple of things, small things too. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. And somebody said earlier, the weather is right now is looking gorgeous for it.
It's going to be good.
So it's going to be a fun one, y'all. But again, so the game one starts 2 p.m. on Friday, and that will be South Carolina versus JMU. We play Friday night at 7 p.m. versus Bryant. And then Saturday and Sunday's games are 12 and 6. And those matchups will be determined by who wins. But again, y'all, tickets are still available. I think they go to general public. I think today, they went on sale to the general public. So again, y'all, go get tickets, where you can for sure. And let's go and pack Doak red, y'all. Let's go win this regional and let's see what happens in the Georgia matchup. And we'll go from there. But thank y'all so much for tuning in, y'all. If you haven't already for us, y'all, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Stay tuned for our regional preview, which will come out tomorrow. And if you enjoyed this conversation, if you love the trivia, let us know. Hit that like button, y'all, and we'll see y'all soon. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Go Pack, y'all. Let's go win this thing.